Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back to Stronger Than Before. The podcast where we don't just talk about success, we build it. I'm your host, Kellie D'Andrea, and I am here to help you build the life of your dreams. And today we're going to get into it. I want you to do something for me right now. Think of a moment, just one moment, where you really wanted someone to say yes. Maybe it was a client you were pitching. Maybe it was your partner about that dream vacation. Or maybe it was your boss about a raise that you absolutely deserved. Did you get the yes? If the answer is not always, then this episode is a game changer. And if you said yes always, listen anyway, because you are about to level up. Today, we're talking about one of my absolutely favorite topics, one I have spent over 20 years studying, 20 years teaching, and honestly perfecting. We're talking about the art and the science of persuasion. Not manipulation, not tricks, not some sleazy sales tactics. We're talking about authentic and powerful human persuasion that creates real connections and real results. The kind that gets you a yes and keeps the relationship intact. By the end of this episode, you're going to know how to present your ideas with confidence and with clarity and conviction. You're going to understand the human psychology behind why people say yes and how to use it ethically. And the toolkit of a real world techniques you can use today, not someday, today. So you want to grab your coffee, grab your notebook, or just keep those earbuds in. But whatever you do, don't tune out. This one you don't want to miss. So let's go. So let me tell you why I love this topic so much and why I'm really good at it. For two reasons. Number one is I grew up watching a master at work. My dad, I know, this man, I tell you, could walk into a room full of strangers and in 5 minutes have everyone laughing, everyone leaning in and hanging on his every word. Didn't matter if it was a gas station, a grocery store, or a black tie event. He just connected. He became that foundation of everything. He engaged folks. Number two is I learned that being smart, being talented, or even right is not enough if you can't communicate it. If you can't bring people along with you, it doesn't matter. The most brilliant ideas in the room goes nowhere without the ability to persuade. Now, here's a stat that really blew my mind when I first heard it, and it still does. A survey of top business skills found that the number one skill in business is oral communication, not coding, not finance, not even creativity. Talking to people, persuading people. And here's the kicker. 80% of the skills that drive business success are people skills, not technical skills. 80%. So if you're grinding away, perfecting your craft, but neglecting how you communicate and persuade, you're working with one hand tied around your back. And in 2026, with AI handling more and more technical tasks, your ability to connect, to communicate, and persuade is more valuable than ever. It's what makes you irreplaceable. So let's start building that skill. So here's the thing most people get wrong about persuasion. They think that it's what you say is how you persuade people, the perfect script, the magic words. And while words matter, we are going to talk about power words today. Persuasion starts way before you open your mouth. It starts in your brain. It starts in your mind. Think about the most influential people you've ever encountered. Maybe it's someone you've met at a networking event. Maybe it's a speaker you saw, or maybe it's an old boss, a mentor, or even a friend. What do they have in common? They're clear on what they want. They're positive, relentless, genuinely positive. They have passion, and you can feel it coming off them like heat. And they are looking for the win-win, not just their win, the win for everyone in the room. The last one is critical, and I need you to burn this into your brain. There is a very important difference between persuasion and manipulation. A manipulator is only thinking about themselves. They'll get the yes today and lose the relationship tomorrow. A persuader really thinks about the mutual benefit. They want a deal that works for everyone because they're playing the long game. And people can feel the difference instantly. So before any important conversation, any pitch or negotiation, you need to ask yourself, what does a win look like for them? How does what I want also serve this person? When you can answer that question, you become magnetic. So there's a believability formula. Now let's talk about it. Let's talk about believability because you can have the best idea in the world, and if people don't believe you, it goes nowhere. Research tells us believability breaks down like this. 55% is visual. So, what people see, your body language, your eye contact, your posture, your appearance. 38% is vocal. How do you sound, your tone, your pace, your energy, your pauses? And 7% is the actual words you say. Now think about that. Let that sink in. 93% of your ability to be believed has nothing to do with your content. 93%. So if you're staring at your phone while someone's talking, looking over the shoulder, speaking in a flat monotone, I don't care how brilliant your message is, nobody's buying it. And here's a fun example. Have you ever bought something, maybe at a market, a boutique, a pop-up shop, not because you desperately needed it, but because the person selling is so passionate about that you just get caught in that feeling. That's not an accident. That's the vocal and visual elements of believability doing their job. So let's talk through the 10 qualities of believability. So let me give you what they are. These are the things that I coach my clients on, and they absolutely work. So the first one is under the visual cues. It's eye contact. People look you in the eye, not in a creepy, unblinking way, just generally see them. Eye contact creates emotional connection. Two is you need to dress and you need to have an appearance. You don't have to be fancy. You don't have to be all professional. You have to be intentional. You have to be well groomed, put together, appropriate for your audience. Three is gestures and smiles. A genuine smile is one of the most persuasive tools you have. Use it. Just give them a smile. That smile brings joy. Four is posture. You need to stand or sit tall. Confidence is a physical before it's verbal. I remember my mom saying, stand up straight. Posture is important. Now, once you move past the visual cues, you have vocal cues. You need to have vocal variety, and that's number 5. You want to play with your pitch. You want to play with your pace, your volume. You don't want to be monotone and disengaged. You want to vary your vocal tone compelling. So people are engaged. 6 is to have verbal variety. Use vivid language, imagery, storytelling. Don't just tell me it's good. Paint me the picture so I can see it in my head. 7 is humor. Appropriate humor cuts tension and makes people like you. You don't need to be a comedian. You just need to be human. And the bonus 3, 8 is listening. This one surprises people. The best persuaders are incredible listeners because you can't lead someone where you want to go if you don't know where that is. If you aren't listening to them. 9 is credibility. You need to back your claims, share your experience, let your track record speak. Which, by the way, if you want to know more about building your credibility and your brand, I got resources for you, kelliedandrea.com. 10 is flexibility and energy. Read the room, adapt, and bring energy, not frantic energy, but alive, present, engaged energy, where people leave that audience. They're like, wow, that was fantastic. So, a quick break. I want to tell you something I generally use and love. I have been using the Riverside FM podcast studio to produce this podcast. It's a wonderful tool and it's very inexpensive. You have an audience in this platform that will help you get through whatever you need to record, host, and do editing. The wonderful thing is they have AI editing. So even if you feel that you don't have it all together, the tool helps you provide what you need. So if you are interested, go to my website at kelliedandrea.com. I'd love to set you up. So I gave you a tool that I use in order to do the podcast, but now I'm going to give you tools, actual techniques that you can use to persuade others. They're field tested, they're psychology backed, and you can deploy them starting today. So, technique number one is called mirroring. People like who are like them. That's not cynical, it's human nature. We feel safe and comfortable with people we relate to. Mirroring is the art of adopting the communication style, the language, and the energy of the person you're talking to. If they're formal, you dial up the polish. If they're casual, you loosen up. If they use industry jargon that you know, you use it back. And if they don't, you simplify. You've seen this at the highest level of politics. Candidates put on their flannel shirts, they roll up their sleeves, eat the local food. That's mirroring. They're saying, I'm one of you, and it works because connection is the foundation of persuasion. Now, I'm not telling you to be fake. I'm telling you to be flexible, and there's a difference. Technique number two is the power of because. In the 1970s, a Harvard psychologist named Ellen Langer did a study where she tested whether, given a reason, any reason, made people more likely to comply with the request. The result is an absolute yes. People respond to the word because. It triggers a mental shortcut. There's a reason, therefore, this is reasonable. So don't just ask, explain. Don't say, "Hey, can you get that to me by Friday?" Say, "Hey, can you get that to me by Friday because the client needs it on Monday and I want some time to review." You're giving them context. You're treating them like a partner, not a task completer, and they're far more likely to say yes. Technique number three is the softer words. Here are some of the most quietly powerful words in the English language: might, maybe, suppose, perhaps, in your opinion, just out of curiosity. And by the way, why? Because they remove pressure. Nobody likes to feel cornered or strong armed. These words open a door instead of pushing someone through it. And here's a real example I use when asking for referrals. Something most business owners never do because they don't know how to ask. Instead of saying, "Hey, do you know anyone who'd benefit from my service?" which feels awkward and transactional, I'd say, "I suppose over the years you've met other business owners like yourself, haven't you?" See what happens there? Suppose takes away the pressure. Haven't you is a tag question. It gently pulls them towards yes. Then I follow up with, "Hey, if I asked you to give me the names of two or three people you, like yourself, you could probably do that, couldn't you? And then who should I contact first now that we're in the conversation?" That's not manipulation. That's leadership through language. Technique number four is the tribal effect. Humans are social creatures. We don't want to be left out, and we take cues from what others are doing. This is called social proof, and it is one of the most powerful forces in the human decision making. Think about restaurant menus that say our most popular dish. Think about Amazon reviews, TikTok reviews, testimonials, user counts. Join 50,000 entrepreneurs who did this. That's tribal effect in action. In your business, this looks like sharing client success stories, displaying the number of people you help, getting testimonials, creating a community. When people see that others like them have made that leap, the fear of being wrong evaporates. Most people do nothing out of fear. Your job as a persuader is to remove the fear. Evidence and community are how you do that. Technique number five, what can I do? The trust builder. This is one I used all the time in leadership. The simple question, what can I do to help you succeed? Or what can I do to get that report to me a day early? What can I do to make this project easier for you? This question does three things at once. One, it signals that you're a partner, not a boss. Two, it removes the adversarial dynamic. And three, it opens up dialogue. Suddenly, you're not in opposition, you're on the same team. Great leaders don't demand, they co create. And co creation is incredibly persuasive. Technique number six is give credit to get buy in. When someone wants someone to embrace your idea, make them feel like it was partly theirs. This isn't trickery. It's brilliant collaboration. When you validate someone's perspective first, they become open to your perspective. When you say, hey, you clearly understand how complex this project is, and then you move into your ask, you've created space for agreement. Even better, you want to frame things so they feel like they arrived at the conclusion themselves. Instead of buy this product, I want you to discover for yourself how this transform your results. See the difference? You're inviting, not pushing. Technique number 7 is the never say why rule. And here's a big one. Never ask why in a confrontational situation. Why didn't you finish the project? Why isn't this done? Why were you late? They are all false questions. The word why immediately puts people on defensive. It forces them to justify themselves. And the defensive person is not a persuasible person. Instead, I noticed the project yet isn't finished. Is there something I can help you with? By the way, what happened with the timeline? What can I do to support you in getting back on track? Same goal, a completely different outcome. One creates a wall and the other opens a door. Power words that move people. Before we move on, let me give you a quick fire list of words that research shows trigger positive responses. These aren't random. Each one connects to a deep human desire. You, love, easy, proven, guaranteed, adults, safety, discover, trust, proved, free, new, now, because, imagine, together. I know, I just read them out loud. Notice that you is number one in any communication. People care most about themselves, not in a selfish way, in a deeply human way. So talk to them, not at them. Make your message about their life, their results, their world. So I gave you the toolkit. Now let's all put it to work in real situations you actually face. Scenario number 1. There's the time sucker. You know who I'm talking about. You know, the person who shows up at your desk physically or virtually and says, hey, do you have a minute? And then, the minute turns into 45. Here's what you say. John, I don't have a minute for you. I have 2. Will 2 minutes work? Let that land for a moment. What did you just do? You set a boundary with warmth. You made them feel valued for you while holding your limit. And when 2 minutes are up, thanks for understanding we agreed to 2 minutes. Clean, kind, clear. Master persuaders know their limits and communicate them gracefully, and that's a skill. Scenario number 2 is getting referrals. I promise you a complete referral script, but here it is from start to finish. I suppose over the years, you met other business owners like yourself, haven't you? And you wait for yes. If I were to ask you for the names of 2 or 3 people who might benefit from what I do the way that you have, you could probably think of someone, couldn't you? And you need to wait. Wonderful. Who should I reach out to first? 3 questions, 3 yeses, 1 referral conversation. The softeners do the heavy lifting, so you need to so you don't need to feel pushy. You will always feel you won't feel pressured. This works because you're building towards yes incrementally. Every small yes makes the next one easier. Scenario number 3 is leading a resistance team member. We've all have been there, especially if you're a high achiever. Let's say someone on your team is dragging their feet on a project. Old approach would be, hey, why isn't this done? That's not how we are persuading folks. Your new approach may be, I know you understand better than anyone how much is riding on this launch. What's getting in your way and what can I do to clear the path for you? You validated their competence, you removed the defense triggers, and you invited collaboration. And now they'll tell you what they actually need. And that is where the real persuasion happens, in the listening. So the next thing we're going to talk about is coming in for the landing. Because beautiful people, here we are. And let me give you your takeaways. And I mean real takeaways. Things to do, not just think about, things to do. Number 1, you want to mind your nonverbals. Before your next conversation, check yourself, check your eye contact. You want to check your posture. You want to check your energy because 93% of your believability lives in your body and your voice, not your words. Number 2, you want to ditch the why. For the next week, ban it from the conversations. Anyone that's confrontational, ban the word why. Replace it with what can I do to help you? And notice what changes. Number three, you want to use one softener today. Might, maybe, I suppose, just out of curiosity. You just want to pick one and you want to deploy it. Feel how differently people respond to it. Number four, you want to look for the win. You want to look for the win win in every interaction. Before any ask, know what's in it for them and lead with that always. Number five, remember the tribal effect. You want to gather your proof, collect your testimonials, share your stories. Let other successes pave the road for new clients. And here's the truth about persuasion: it's not a talent. You either have or you don't. It's not a skill. It's a learnable practice, improved skills. And the fact that you spent an hour with me today tells me that you're serious about mastering it. And I'm so proud of you for showing up for yourself, for your business, for the people you serve. If today's episode sparked something for you, I want to hear about it. Reach out directly. I'm at Kellie at kelliedandrea.com, or head to kelliedandrea.com website, where you'll find my programs, my tools, and resources built to help you build a powerful, powerful life from the inside out. And if you love this episode, and I hope you did, please leave a review. Share it with a fellow entrepreneur, a fellow leader, a high achiever, and subscribe so you never miss what's coming next. I'm Kellie D'Andrea, and you are stronger than before. I'll see you next time.